Hey guys, my name is Emil Walraff, and when I found out that Sawfish actually use their saws to smack their prey, and that Farming Simulator is successful enough to develop an esports scene, I realized that humanity really faces a serious deficit of Sawfish simulators. So I grabbed my friend Jan, and the two of us decided to solve this problem once and for all.
Hey fellow Sawfish interested simulator gamers, my name is Jan Rupert and I'm developer of Sawfish.
We started out by developing a controller for the Sawfish. Okay, actually we started out by writing a project specification document for the game as we were told to in university, but that didn't bring us anywhere. So back to controlling the Sawfish. The game had to be first person, but when I wrote a first person controller, a normal one, I quickly realized that moving sidewards and backwards feels not fishy enough for a fish. So we cancelled that and settled on directional input with the mouse and pretty much pressing forward to swim. That's closer to how you control vehicles in most games than people, but I guess fish are more like cars or planes than people. The next thing on our list was combat. Sawfish kill their prey actually by smacking it with their saws, which is awesome, and leads to kind of a weird experience in the first person view, since to actually hit something you have to hit it with the side of your screen, which is unusual but I guess cool in a way because it's uncommon and it does actually makes it feel like you're playing a sawfish and not just any fish, which I think is cool. But the really big problem here were the enemies themselves. We found some free models on the internet, that was easy, but they obviously have to move through the game world, so I had to write some pathfinding and movement stuff, which I was a little afraid of since I never worked with Unreal. But then I found out Unreal does actually offer an AI controlled movement thing that automatically does the pathfinding and you can just enter some coordinates to move there, which was awesome. It was huge. Like, I really didn't want to code this in the blueprints I never worked with before. But after like 3 minutes I found out that the system only works on 2D, meaning you can only walk and not like swim in 3D like fish do, so I had to code it myself. It took some time and some repetitions, and I guess it's way more complicated and clunky than it has to be, but I guess it kinda works. With this settled, I added a kill counter so you can see how many fish you already smacked. I think that is awesome, and I imagine that's what sawfish think about all the time in real life. I also added a hunger bar, which is something sawfish probably actually think about in real life. So you get hungry, the bar fills up, and then you can smack something, eat it, and your hunger goes away, which is kind of like hunger in real life. You cannot be wounded, however, so far, so no fish fights back, meaning as long as you actually eat something, you are... The food we use, however, doesn't really look like it comes from a fish, but it's the closest thing we found online, and our 3D modeling skills were already pretty exhausted from modeling the saw itself, because somehow we did not find a free 3D model for a sawfish saw online, which is a sad reality.
I created this beautiful first level by sculpting the landscape and modeling this iconic moving grass as well as the water, including this stunning underwater effect. Especially the water was a real mess in the first part, because Unreal's current water plugin is still in an experimental state. And if I say experimental, I really mean experimental. And don't even bother using this plugin with Git, you will see bugs you wish you would never knew of.
I added some particle systems with air bubbles in spots that felt appropriate, which pretty much means in random spots. And I even found one of those cool underwater sound effect things, like the ones you always have when you're underwater in a game. And while I was already adding sound effects, I also put in a sound for smacking, and I truly found one of the eating sounds of all time. We first thought about just calling the game Sawfish Simulator, but then we realized that Sawfish Simulation is probably going to be a huge genre at some point, and just having a game called Sawfish Simulator in a world full of Sawfish simulators felt like an unfair competitive advantage. So we chose to go with a hyper-modern solution and name our game not just in one language, but in emotes that can be universally understood. Great idea, but unfortunately there is no Sawfish emote. So we had to settle with a combination of the carpenter saw and the fish emotes together. Spelling out Sawfish. I hope Sawfish are actually called Sawfish in all languages, because if they're not, then it is not really understandable for everyone, but yeah. We were a little divided about which provider's emote to use and almost ended up using Twitter's because they are free, but that's the exact thing Discord did, so we were afraid that doing the same thing as Discord would mean that our awesome software would be full of bugs too. So I drew our own emotes for the logo, and Jan actually made an awesome main menu featuring them, and even added a pause menu in the game so you can return to the main menu if you're done playing, and we don't have to close the game by using Task Manager anymore. I guess that's about our progress in the last 10 days. I'll keep you updated about how the game progresses, and love to hear your feedback about what you saw so far. So until next time.